A very good day to all of you, wherever you're watching the match from. It's wonderful to have you with us in the Ostrava Arena, the smaller of the two arenas in this larger complex, hosting the 13th place playoff at the WFC of 2025 between Japan and Australia. The Japanese in the red with white trim, and they play from left to right. My name is Olli Hockben, and alongside me is youth coach at Erä Vikingit in Finland, Mr. Tero Kalsta. Tero, it's interesting to start with your perspective as a youth coach, because we've got some really bright young prospects coming through, haven't we, in both of these teams?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, surprised to see Guyo in the opening lineup, but great for her. And maybe that's kind of a handshake between the generations now when several Australian players are retiring. So great to see. And Otoki Rimi, you have to talk about her. I've seen her play already, and she is really impressive, just like you said.
It is an emotional day for Australia. They are really witnessing the end of an era here with the departure of Barnes, of Van Uden, of Hodges and Margetts. They played so many championships. Margetts, 6 of them. Hodges, a 7th and final championships. Van Uden, 2nd championships. Barnes is 4th. Japan with a chance, and Barnes says, no, not right now, not on my retirement. Not going to happen. So, my question to you, Tero, and I ask this to you as somebody who's still playing the game now very much competitively. You came to this country for a tournament recently yourself. How does it feel when you've got people in your squad that you know you're saying goodbye to, having been part of that journey with them for such a long time?
That's a tricky question. You referred to me coming here for a tournament. It's a veteran tournament, so I still haven't lost the guys I'm played with for the last 30 years. But some of them, of course, have left, and especially if you have guys that you have a good chemistry with, it's always then difficult to replace them. And it's, of course, always sad to see a good friend and a good player leave. But that's life. You cannot stop time.
I'll ask you in another 30 years how it feels to say goodbye to those teammates. You'd probably all still be playing together then.
Oh.
I know you. I've seen you run. I've seen the way you were running in that IFF versus local organising committee game.
Yeah, but like you said in your intro, it's interesting how that will affect the Australian team, because it must be very emotional. I would assume it gives a boost to the team. They just want to give it one more time to these fellow players and take this one home.
Shimizu came off her head. All perfectly above board. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Japan in possession with a few little chances here and there. One imagines, frankly, this is going to be a tight and arduous and entertaining game.
I believe so, and the first 2 matches today have proven that as well. We've come to the level at the point of the tournament when it's all getting a little leveled up, and the matchups are tight, the matches are good and entertaining.
Barnes had to be very alert to that long-distance hit from Shimoyama Momoka, who's looking for a first goal at the World Floorball Championship since 2017.
That's a long time to wait for a goal.
And that wasn't long to wait for that ball for Japan, because they were rather presented with it back by Hodges, who got across to cover.
She had to really run to make up for that missed pass, but she did well.
At the back for Australia is that player there, number 20, Lexi Elliott of the Falcons Floorball Club, who designed the logo for the under-19 qualifiers that are taking place next month. She's a future graduate of communications and media and marketing, so will doubtless bring a great deal to the sport in many capacities.
Absolutely. And first just under 5 minutes in this game, very tight defending, maybe a little nervosity. I've seen especially Australians giving unforced errors or passes that have been intercepted, so maybe the nerves still showing a bit. But both teams very compact in defense.
Austin plays it laterally. Who's going to get the first goal of this 13th place playoff? Nice to see in action Gemma O'Rourke of Peninsula Floorball Club.
The importance of the first goal in a match like this is huge.
There's a really interesting psychology to these placement round matches. I think they're some of the most enjoyable of the entire tournament, actually, irrespective of what place is being contested, because, and it's one of the greatest things about the structure of a WFC, you get the chance as a team to leave with a win.
Absolutely.
And so you have to make this your WFC final somehow.
Exactly, that's very well put. This is for each team, it's their final, regardless of what position they are playing for. So, and always, you play for your national team, it's always an honor. I wouldn't know myself, but I've heard that many, many times.
It's been our honor, hasn't it, to watch the likes of Shannon Barnes, Isabel Van Uden, Blaise Hodges and Caroline Margetts over the years. Good spirited attempt by Kamberski to get the ball back. Van Uden's had it plucked away from her. Hodges comes out to help out, but here's the sprint from Hirasawa, trying to get behind the goal. They recovered that with purpose, the Australians. Problem was, it took 3 to recover the ball, and consequently there were not many options upfield.
That's right, there wasn't really that big of a danger. The Japanese had 3 players already in their defense, and on top of that, a very good stick, long stick, defending the passing lane, and got intercepted.
Hodges with the connection in front of goal. You would be fully expecting her to get on the scoreboard today, wouldn't you?
Yeah, expect her to be somewhere in the center in front of the goal and doing her turnaround sweeper shot.
There she is, Blaise Hodges, who was initially forced to play floorball by her mum. It took her a few years to start enjoying it. I think it's safe to say she rather likes it now.
I would say so, if you travel all the way from Australia to play here, so.
Behind the goal, came back almost for Austin.
How did that stay out?
That's a bit of a mystery.
Let's see.
A watch for Ito up front for the Japanese, trying to steal the ball back. She'll forecheck aggressively. She is a graduate of Kokushikan University, which is a really prestigious university in the Setagai Ward of Tokyo, right in the heart of the beautiful city. Very famous sporting university too.
Like I said, good defending so far. So if there's an interception and the counter-attack developing, both teams are very close to the players, so they can instantly stop them and or direct them into the less dangerous areas of the field of play. So it's very good defending. Instant pressure when they got the pass deep into the zone, so that's also a good sign of good defense.
We look at Ariane Guillot, who started her playing career in Brisbane, but now is based in Switzerland.
That was an amazing save. Just the tip of the foot that she got in between to deny Vanderberg from scoring. That was quite an incredible lunge.
We asked ourselves the question how on earth that ball stayed out. It took a replay to discover the answer. An incredible stop from Sato Ami. My word.
Amazing.
Dr. Ruby Wright is the furthest player back for the Australian team. Receives the ball, goes out to the left for Jessica Vanderberg, winner of the B Division World Championships in 2009. Here she is, Vanderberg. That's what you call longevity with the national team. She'd actually semi-retired, but the presence of her sister Sarah Laidlaw in her debut championships compelled her, as Motoki nearly compelled Shannon Barnes to let that ball go beyond her.
Yeah.
Right, Tero, Motoki Rimi, off you go.
Yeah, I mean, she intercepted well, and when she just starts her acceleration, it's so hard to defend. She's so quick on her feet, and from full flight she can also deliver a shot, so she really forced Shannon Barnes to make a good save. And she works both ways, both defense and offense, so a very laborious player.
There are times during this World Championship that I felt that we need to pause the action and do a 15-minute PowerPoint presentation on why she's such a fantastic player.
Exactly. A good save from Barnes. That's a nice set play from the hit-in. The Japanese player departing from in front of the goal to the left wing to make herself available for that pass and shot, and that was quite well played.
Minnie Cray. Watch for her to get on the scoreboard at these championships. We've been saying it for a while. We think it is always a danger. She scored 5 at her first championships. Just go back to the contribution that Blaise Hodges has made. Minnie Cray is in the team partly because it was Hodges who introduced her to the sport of floorball in the first place. Now, that's not to take anything away from Cray's own accomplishment. It wasn't a case that Blaise Hodges spotted her and immediately the next day she was in the national team. She had to become a great floorball player. She had to become worthy of selection for the team, which she's done through sheer sedulity, and that's Minnie Cray for you. That's how hard she works. But Hodges has helped bring players into the team as well.
Well, if you love the sport, you'll do anything to get people into sports.
Van Uden in her final appearance for the national team. And we're at the power break, and it's a really interesting start to the match. It's very much as expected. She has played her part in keeping it level. No score so far. They are a marvellous bunch of travelling fans, the Australians and the Japanese. Really fantastic. Particularly the Australians in numbers are here. They always travel in huge numbers to events, don't they, Tero?
Yes, they do, and they always have these banner. I don't know Japanese signs, but there's also these messages that they're delivering to the team as well.
A lot of them are the kanji, the characters for the players. So, for example, there's one there that says Shimoyama. Yama being the Japanese for mountain. It's quite an easy character, actually. It's one of the first ones that you learn to read in Japanese because it actually looks like a mountain.
Okay, interesting.
Margetts. Touched by O'Rourke, and it should be cleared by Goto. I feel like in a match like this, Tero, it's the right time to reiterate what an absolutely wonderful community there is in this sport.
Yes, I mean, we've seen that in the stands here, and of course with the teams also taking photos together. And I saw just a recent post from the Slovak team after they had played the Finns when Veera Kauppi scored 6+2 against them, and they said, "We don't hate you, Veera." These kind of puns, and it's so much fun to see these things like this.
There is a sense, isn't there, in this sport that you don't want your opponent to play badly. You want to beat them, and helps if they don't have the greatest day, but nobody wants to see other floorball players falter. Nobody wants to see them struggle.
Absolutely not.
A lot of organisations, be it sporting organisations or big companies, they have slogans, and sometimes those slogans ring very hollow. Sometimes they ring very true. Sometimes you feel that they're truly being lived out there on the field of play. Fair floorball is one of those. It's not just some silly hashtag that was created. It is absolutely the ethos of this sport. The players live and breathe it.
Nothing to add. It's a good forechecking spell from Australia. I mean, the first 5 minutes or so was very cautious play, and I think gradually it's been picking up on both sides. But still, with ball possession, they are patient on the build-up, especially the Australians. Japanese are more on the counter side.
Here goes Hodges. Tried to dart through and got very close to darting through. That was a tricky one for the Japanese defence.
Again, good forechecking, but quite lonesome there. Easy to outplay if you're forechecking just on your own.
Goto. She made a big contribution to Japan's qualification campaign with 3 goals and 3 assists. Only played briefly in the previous qualifying campaign.
Great interception.
Wasn't that fantastic, because Matoki would have been in a very central position had that ball run to her.
Crucial stick defense from Ruby Wright, very well played.
Now, Tero, you've said some really interesting things over the course of these championships as guides for young players. For young players who are watching, or new fans of the sport of floorball, let's talk a little about the principles of what you should be doing with your stick in defensive positions, how you should be holding it, where you should be in terms of your stance.
Yeah, you should be always focusing on the divider, lengthwise divider of the field, and keeping your stick in that direction. And the point being that you want to intercept the diagonal passes from ring to ring. So that's one of the rules of thumb for the sport. And of course, the other thing, if you are close to another player, you must identify which side is their forehand. So you should always play the dangerous forehand shot first. And the backhand is typically less dangerous, but some of the players are also specialists on the backhand shot, but typically forehand first. And that's a learning curve for players, young players, that they really recognize which side the player has their forehand.
And these two nations will know each other very well. They will have scouted each other well. They've played a lot against each other. So hopefully most of the players will not have too many surprises in terms of what the opponents can do.
And bringing this up, the Australian squad is very different, because a big majority of the players play right. So defending them is a little easier. You don't have to observe too much, you know, 9 out of 10 they play right, I'll just take this side. That's forehand, most likely.
And then you have the ultimate counterpoint with the Estonian squad, where I think every single outfielder is a left-hander. Bursky coming over with Jess Vandenberg.
Having a discussion and thinking about which version we will take.
It's that version. Is it going to work? Nearly from Vandenberg. Now a steal from the Japanese, a chance to break forward, but good defensive recovery from Lexi Elliott. She is a really high quality defender.
Yeah. And that's dedication. I mean, back check work is so important. You never give up. And when we were talking about stick defending, in back checking, when you're trying to get back and defend the player who's just breaking through, you have to extend your arm and the stick as long as you can to just give that sense of urgency and force them away from that good scoring angle, and maybe even turn around.
Now, back checking is the thoroughly unglamorous part of the game, isn't it?
Yes, but so important.
How do you train young players to like the unglamorous part of the game?
Ooh, good question. But we have certain kinds of drills that you have to chase the player in a game-like situation, and that's when they just need to learn that it's a fluctuating 3 against 2 game going back and forth, and then one player is always running behind, and they need to learn that they just need to catch up to make it even a 3-on-3 instead of a 3-on-2.
Good idea from Margetts, who would love to be involved in the points today, as the Japanese, really just with a lone player in Mogi, was hoping support would arrive, and the Australians just swarmed.
Oh, good. Nice to get some high five of just winning your team that free hit. But maybe actually one more point on that back checking. How do you actually make them want it and learn it? Is to have the culture of not only celebrating when you score a goal or give a good assist, but if you make a good block, if you make a good forecheck, win the ball for your team, and learn to cheer for your guys and get the high fives and back taps. So that's also one way of just mentally making them stronger and wanting to do that thing that we are expecting them to do.
Sarah Laidler out to Katie Wright. Katie Wright's been another of those really exciting developing players, breakout players at these championships.
I really have enjoyed how she plays really a tough, strong, physical game. She's young, but she really doesn't shy away from taking that legal contact shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, she's 17 with the upper body shoulder-to-shoulder contact of a 27-year-old, isn't she? Which is a great asset.
Absolutely.
And one wonders with Katie Wright how much of it is down to just having a very good mental game as well.
Yeah. That's, again, a good sign of good defending, a very good block from the Japanese. So both teams have really kept each other away from quality scoring positions thanks to their good defensive work.
And all of that means that we have 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in this first period, and there's no score. Hodges going close, but always comfortably seen wide by the goalkeeper. I don't think there's anything about the start of this match that's been remotely surprising.
No, not at all.
It's been what we hoped.
Exactly.
Oh, another good attempt from Vandenberg. She's got an eye for goal today, clearly.
And a bad one for Sato Ame, because it hit something on the way and was bouncing awkwardly, so always a difficult one for a goalie.
Close to the conclusion, but a lot still to come. If necessary, we'll go to overtime and a penalty competition. Margetts is the chase on here for Kamberski. She needs some support if they're going to get one last shot in, the Australians. Margetts is there, coming across with Casal wearing 27. They nearly steered it to her, and it will be an Australian free hit in a good position.
Yeah, what a way this would be to finish the period, going into the locker rooms, just getting that mental upside if you would score just at the end of the period.
And the shot does come in. There we go. There's always time in floorball.